Good morning, students. Today I am going to start of first chapter from part B. Let me clear you that your entire syllabus for economy code number 030 is divided into two parts, that is part A and part B. Part A name is statistics and its tools. Part B is a microeconomics. Both part will carry 40 marks each. So 40 plus 40 equal to 80, and you have 20 marks projects. So in class 11 you have to cover two books, one for statistics, another book for microeconomics, right? So today I am going to deal with the first chapter, that is introduction chapter of a microeconomics. So in this chapter we'll study the meaning of scarcity, economic problems, meaning of economics, positive economics and normative economics, microeconomics and macroeconomics, central problem of an economy, opportunity cost, production possibility frontier will cover in this lecture video. But today, in order to keep my video lecture short, I will discuss few points, and few points I will discuss in another video. So let's start. So every fields of study has its own language and its own way of thinking. For example, mathematics talk about algebra, science deals with experiment, accounts deals with profit and loss, and so on. Similarly, economics is no different, and economics language consists of terms like demand, supply, market, etc. In the coming chapters we'll come across many new terms and some familiar words that economists use in a specialized way. The most important purpose of this chapter is to help you understand an economist's way of thinking. Of course, as one cannot become a mathematician overnight. In the same way, learning to think like an economist will take some time. So yet, with a combination of theory, numericals and live examples, I'll try to give you ample opportunity to develop, practice the skills. So, first of all, let me tell you what is economy. It's very simple. Economy is very simple to understand. It is nothing. It is a system which provides people the means to work and learn their living. You must have observed many activities happening around you in your daily life. For instance, you may have seen factories, mines, shops, offices, flyover, railway, etc. All these institutions and organizations may be collectively called an economy. Such units enable people to earn an income and at the same time help to produce goods and services. It is an organization that provides living to the people. In the task, it makes use of the available resources to produce those goods and services that people want. For example, Indian economy consists of all sources of production in agriculture, industry, transport and communication. So till here you may understand the meaning of economy. What is economy is all about. So it is nothing. यह एक व्यवस्था है जिसमें लोगों को कार्य करने के लिए मिलता है, जिसके माध्यम से वो अपना जीविकोपार्जन कर सके. ठीक है. So entire process of the economy depends on three pillars. The entire process of economy, that is called production, consumption, investment, or capital formation. These are the three pillars on which entire economy is based. So the economic activities are known as the essential or the vital process of an economy. Now let me tell you why to study economics. So like we go to cinema halls to watch a movie, we go to restaurant to eat, we attend a school to get education or to be able to earn our living. It means every activity is conducted for a specific reason. Economics is the study because it enables us to understand different aspects of the economy. So however, the main reason for study of economics can be simplified to a single word, that is scarcity. We all know human wants are more than the available resources. So there is a need to allocate these scarce resources for the satisfaction of never-ending human want. Hence, economics is concerned with the selection of resources under conditions of scarcity. So here I use the terminology scarcity. Now let me tell you the meaning of scarcity. So what is the meaning of scarcity? Scarcity refers to the limitation of supply in the relation to demand for a commodity. Scarcity refers to the limitation of supply in relation to demand for a commodity. In simple words, scarcity does not mean unavailability of any resources. It means less availability of resources in comparison to its demand. So it refers to the situation when wants exceed the available resources. As a result, goods are not readily available and society does not have enough resources to satisfy all the wants of its people. Scarcity is universal. That is, every individual, organization and economy faces a scarcity of resources. So scarcity of resources call for economizing of resources. Economizing, this is another terminology you encounter after economy. Economy, then economizing. What do you mean by economizing? It refers to making optimum use of available resources. Now what is optimum use of it? It means no wastage. We have to ensure fuller utilization of it, because we'll discuss later on that human wants are unlimited and resources are limited, and this is the biggest challenge for any economy. So scarcity is not the only problem. Limitations of resources is not the only problem. Its alternate use of resources means are the actual problems. And now, what do you mean by the alternate use of resources? We can take the example. Milk can be utilized to make a coffee. Milk can be utilized to make a sweet. Milk can be utilized to make a curd. Milk can be utilized to make cheese. So, milk is having alternative uses. Similarly, wheat can be utilized to produce maida, right? Or it can be used to make wheat flour, or it can be used to make noodles. So there are various uses of one resource. So whether to produce what or what not, this is the biggest challenge for economics. For example, we'll take another example also. We all know petrol is scarce in relation to its demand. But there is one more problem. In addition to its scarcity, it is used not only in vehicles but also in machines, railway engines, airplanes, generators. So whenever a commodity is chosen for one use, other variable uses will have to be rejected. So these things gives rise to the problem of choice. So here we come to know that what scarcity means. So scarcity does not mean non-availability of the resources, but it means less availability in comparison to its demand. So we come to know that what is economy. Then we studied about scarcity. Now we are going to deal with economic problems. So economic problem is a problem of choice involving satisfaction of unlimited want out of limited resources having alternative uses. एक तो कम है, यूजेज ज्यादा है. अल्टरनेटिव यूजेज मीन्स सेवरल चीजों में उसको यूज हम कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. सो देयर आर 3 मेन रीजन फॉर द एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ इकोनॉमिक प्रॉब्लम. एंड व्हाट आर दे? दैट इज फर्स्ट वन वी हैव स्टडीड scarcity of resources. Scarcity of resources, that is land, labor, capital, etc. are the limited in relation to their demand, and economy cannot produce all what people want. It is the basic reason for the existence of economic problem in all economies. Scarcity is universal and applies to all individual organizations and countries. There would have been no problem if resources were not scarce. The second reason of economic problem is unlimited human wants. Yes, of course. We humans have unlimited wants. When we are kids, we do have demand for a bicycle. When we grown up and become a teenager, then we started putting a demand for a bike. Then after we started putting a demand for a car. Now everyone is looking for their own jet, personal jet. So this happened with it. This is a human psychology. We didn't get satisfied with anything. So human wants are never ending. It's never ending. That is, they can never be fully satisfied. As soon as one wants is satisfied, another new wants emerges. Wants of the peoples are unlimited and keep on multiplying. Keep on multiplying and cannot be satisfied due to limited resources. Human wants also differ in priorities. That is, all wants are not of equal intensity. For every individual, some wants are more important, some are less as compared to others. Due to this reason, people allocate their resources in order of preference to satisfy some of their wants. If all human wants had been of equal importance, then it would have become impossible to make choices. Now, if we talk about the third reason for the economic problem, that is of alternative uses of resources. So resources are not only scarce, but they can also be put to various uses. It makes choice among resources more important. For example, petrol is used not only in vehicles only, but also for running machines, generators, etc. As a result, economy has to make choices between the alternative use of the given resource. So, on the basis of previously discussed topic, now we can conclude with the meaning of economics. So, what is the meaning of economics? Economics is a social science which studies the way a society chooses to use its limited resources, which have alternative uses, to produce goods and services and to distribute them among different group of people. Economics is what? It is a social science which studies the way a society chooses to use its limited resources, which have alternate uses, to produce goods and services and to distribute them among different group of people. ये कुछ नहीं है, ये क्या है? एक सामाजिक विज्ञान है जिसके अनुसार समाज, ठीक है, यह निर्धारित करता है कि वो अपने रिसोर्सेज का उपयोग किस प्रकार से करेगा। और इसी के संदर्भ में हम लोग आगे पढ़ाई करते हैं, इकोनॉमिक्स में इसको जानने की कोशिश करते हैं। सो व्हाट इज इकोनॉमिक्स इज ऑल अबाउट? It is all about making choices in the presence of scarcity. It is all about making choices in the presence of scarcity. It studies human behavior as a relationship between means, that is resources, and ends, that is human wants. Economics aims to ensure that the resources are used in the best possible manner. On the basis of various aspects, economics can be considered as a positive economics and a normative economics. So first of all, we'll try to understand what is positive economics and what is normative economics. It has two types, positive science and normative science. So in positive science, basically we discuss what is, what was, and what will be. This type of thing we discuss in a positive science as a economics. What does it mean? It means that positive economics deals with what are the economic problems and how are they actually solved. प्रॉब्लम है क्या और उसको हम लोग सॉल्व कैसे कर सकते हैं? These things we studied where? In positive science. Positive, we can take the example to understand and clarify our doubts. Like a positive economics theory might describe that manufacturing and sale of cigarette is injurious to health, but it does not provide any instruction or judgment on what policy ought to be followed to avoid cigarette in an economy. So this is what is, what was, and what will be. Like it actually deals what is or how the economic problems should be actually solved. This is, in a simple terms, you can understand about the positive economics. Actually, do not confuse the statement of positive economics as a statement of truth. Positive economics statement should not be confused as a statement of truth. They may be true or false. Like if Paras say that India is the most populated country in the world and Saksham say that China is the most populated country, then both are positive statements. However, Paras is wrong and Saksham is right. Both is positive statement. So this is what I want to tell you. Okay, now let's try to understand the meaning of normative economics. Normative economics tells us what ought to be, what ought to be, what should happen, what should have happened, what ought to be, what should happen, and what should have happened. Actually, normative economics deals with what to be and how the economic problems should be solved. कैसे सॉल्व करना चाहिए. Like India should not be an overpopulated country और prices should not rise. ये नहीं होना चाहिए, ठीक है, लेकिन ये हो रहा है. तो this is what normative science as a economics. Like we can verify positive economics with actual data, but we cannot verify normative economics with actual data. Like price in Indian economy are constantly rising, so this thing can be verified with actual data. India should take a step to control rising price. We don't have any data for it, so we cannot verify it with actual data. Hope this is clear to you all. Now let me tell you that microeconomics and macroeconomics, actually the economics is the subject matter which have been studied under two broad branches. One is known as microeconomics. It is also known as price theory. The second one is macroeconomics, which is also known as income theory. So these two concepts have become of a general use in economics, and we'll discuss it. So first of all, we'll discuss microeconomics. So Adam Smith is considered to be the founder of the field of microeconomics. The term micro has been derived from Greek word micros, which means a small. Microeconomics deals with analysis of behavior and economic actions of a small and individual units of the economy, like a particular consumer, a firm, or a small group of individual units. The concept of microeconomics is very important as it supplies the foundation for most of our understanding of the functioning of an economy. Microeconomics is that part of economic theory which studies the behavior of individual units of an economy. In order to make you understand in a better way, let me tell you the meaning of firm and industry. On the basis of this, you can easily understand. So, for understanding the meaning of firm and industry, we'll take the example of shoes. If I ask you which shoe you prefer to wear, it might be possible you are preferring to wear the shoe of Adidas, Reebok, Hush Puppies. So these are the renowned brands. Clark. There are various brands. So if I am talking about particularly economic problem related to liberty, then I am actually talking about microeconomics. But if I am talking about the all shoe manufacturing unit togetherly, it means what? Industries, the shoe industries. So this is very important to understand as a student of economics, then only we can proceed further. So here on the basis of this, you can easily understand that what is macroeconomics, what we have to study in that, and what is macroeconomics, what we have to study in that. In macroeconomics, we will study about aggregate demand, aggregate supply. In microeconomics, we have to study about demand and supply. So both are different. Aggregate supply, aggregate demand is different, whereas demand and supply of a firm is different. So microeconomics is what? It is that part of economic theory which studied the behavior of individual units of an economy. For example, individual income, price of a commodity, etc. Its main tools are demand and supply. Whereas macroeconomics, the term macro has been derived from the Greek word macros, which means large. So the macroeconomics deals with overall performance of the economy. It is concerned with the study of the problem of the economy like inflation, unemployment, poverty, right? So it can be also defined in one line. So macroeconomics is that part of economic theory which studied the behavior of aggregates of the economy as a whole. For example, national income, aggregate output, aggregate consumption, etc. Its main tools are aggregate demand and aggregate supply. So in microeconomics, the letter I stands for individual, that is, it studies the economic behavior of individual, and in macroeconomics, the letter A stands for aggregate, that is, it studies the economy as a whole, right? So now I am going to discuss the central problem of an economy. We know the meaning of micro and macro. Now it's time to learn and proceed further to know what is the central problem of an economy. And but let me tell you one thing. 3 marks questions generally asked by the CBSE on the basis of difference between micro and macroeconomics. So from your textbook, you can easily note it down and memorize it. So this is the one of important question which usually asked by the CBSE. So I thought to tell you in this. So now let's start with the central problem of an economy. Actually, the production, distribution and dispositions of goods and services are the basic economic activities. Production, distribution and disposition of goods and services. These are the basic economic activities of life. So in the course of these activities, every society has to face a scarcity of resources. Because of this scarcity, every society has to decide how to allocate the scarce resources. So it leads to following central problems that are faced by every economy. So these are what to produce, how to produce and for whom to produce. So I told you that the three major problem of an economy is what to produce, how to produce and for whom to produce. What, how, whom. So this topic we have to study. These three actually comes under a major topic named as allocations of resources. The major topic under which these three questions come, the name is allocations of resources. So allocation of resources refers to the problem of assigning the scarce resources in such a manner so that maximum wants of the society are fulfilled. As resources are limited in relation to the unlimited want, it is important to economize their use and utilize them in the most efficient manner. Mind the word economize. It means what? It means optimum utilization. Although entire resources available with us is scarce, so it's become very necessary to utilize them in a most efficient manner. And that's why these three problems arise under the head allocations of resources. That what to produce and in what quantity. क्या बनाए और कितना बनाए, क्योंकि उस रिसोर्सेज का तो बहुत सारा यूजेस है, उससे ढेर सारी चीजें बना सकते हैं, तो यही क्यों बनाए. दिस इज द बिगेस्ट क्वेश्चन. व्हाट टू प्रोड्यूस एंड इन व्हाट क्वांटिटी, हाउ टू प्रोड्यूस एंड फॉर whom टू प्रोड्यूस. कैसे बनाए और किसके लिए बनाए. सो दिस इज दी थ्री आर द बेसिक or main central problem of an economy. So let's start with what to produce. Actually, these problems involve selection of goods and services to be produced and the quantity to be produced of each selected commodity. Every economy has limited resources and thus cannot produce all the goods. More of one goods or service usually means less of others. For example, production of more sugar is possible only by reducing the production of other goods. Production of more war goods is possible only by reducing the production of civil goods, because resources are limited with us. So economics has to answer what to produce and in what quantity. क्या बनाए, कितना बनाए, और ये बड़ा ऑप्टिमम होना चाहिए, तभी आपकी इकोनॉमी ग्रो कर सकती है. अगर इसमें इम्बैलेंसेस हुआ, एक्चुअली इन इकोनॉमिक्स एंड फाइनेंस देयर इज नथिंग गुड नथिंग बैड. बैलेंसिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एक्सेस ऑफ एवरीथिंग इज बैड. दिस स्टेटमेंट इज परफेक्ट इन केस ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स. सो द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ व्हाट टू प्रोड्यूस हैज टू एस्पेक्ट्स. That what possible commodities to be produced. Like any economy has to decide which consumer goods like rice, wheat, clothes, and which of the capital goods like machinery, equipments are to be produced. In the same way, economy has to make a choice between civil goods like bread, butter and war goods like guns and tanks. So, and the second aspect of this problem is how much to produce. मतलब वो जो मैं बोला है in what quantity. So after deciding the goods to be produced in economy has to decide the quantity of each commodity that is selected. It means it involves a decision regarding the quantity to be produced of a consumer and capital goods, civil and war goods. So my dear student, for today that is sufficient. I don't want to keep the length of this video so long. So here I am ending this part. In next video lecture we'll discuss the another two major problem of the economy, that is how to produce and for whom to produce. So thanks for the day.